opened in 1978 in New Jersey, and almost instantly things started to take a turn for the worst. So many people got injured at this park, and it was finally shut down in 1996, I believe. So I'm gonna tell you some of the most horrific things that happened there in the 18 years that it was active. Now, the problem was that all of the ride operators and all of the staff there were just young teenagers, and they were literally hired with no first aid training, with barely any work experience. They barely knew how to function the rides. It was pretty bad. The tidal wave pool quickly became a prominent attraction at Action Park. It was one of the first wave pools of its kind in the US. And because people hadn't really seen a wave pool before, people were so amazed by this. But instead of filling the wave pool with salt water, which you usually do to help swimmers stay afloat, they filled it with fresh water, which is a lot harder to float in. And apparently lifeguards had to save up to 100 people each day. Are you kidding me? This wave pool was so dangerous they had to have 12 lifeguards looking over it at once. And it says that 3 people actually drowned in this pool between 1982 and 1987, and it actually earned the nickname the Grave Pool. Could you imagine wanting to go play in something that was called the Grave Pool? On the Alpine slide, riders would climb aboard a tiny sled and launch themselves down a concrete track. Now, riders would basically control themselves with this handbrake that people said was usually broken, which is not good. That's the other things. They would never really fix their rides when they broke. Now, the sleds had 2 speeds. One was called slow, and the other was called death awaits. Are you kidding me? And it says between 1984 to 1985, so just 1 year, there were 14 people who sustained fractures, and 26 people had head injuries. Now, this wasn't even the worst thing that happened on this ride. In 1980, an employee decided to go down this ride and actually fell off the edge of it. They fell into this rocky area below and unfortunately passed away. And get this, the ride remained open even after that. The park's kayak ride was nothing more than a few large fans creating fake rapids on a watery track, which riders would paddle down. Now, in 1982, a man was actually electrocuted while on this ride because he stepped too close to an exposed wire in the water, because they literally had fans, electric fans in the water, making this ride have rapids. Next, we have the Tarzan swing. The ride comprised of a long piece of rope which could swing people out over a giant pool. They would let go and fall into the chilly water below. Now, the problem was the water that filled this pool was too cold for people to be in. They filled this pool up with natural spring water that was 30 degrees colder than the rest of the water at this park. And apparently in 1984, a man went into this pool and died of a fatal heart attack because the water was too cold.